Welcome in, Seven Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke. We're going to talk a lot Crosse Speedway today as our StreetStox Championship was held last weekend. And number one, we're going to congratulate the Madman John Aaron as he took home the StreetStox Championship last weekend. And he had some drivers he had to fight against to make it where he was. And for Aaron, that's now back-to-back StreetStox champs at the Crosse Speedway. Coming up on the program today, Taylor Dobbs, Smalls, John Burbach, and Dan Osthoff are going to join us. Three guys that have really owned the StreetStox class. When I say owned, these guys have taken care of that class. They've taken care of the drivers in this class. And if you look back at the point standings, we had 23 that at one point in time ran in that series. And these guys really did a lot of promoting it, racing cleanly, talking about the finances behind it, and hopefully we can see that StreetStox class at La Crosse grow next weekend. So all three drivers are going to join me on the program today. Reminder, we shot the program today. This airs Thursday. This is the beginning of 3 days of racing at Mississippi Thunder Speedway. We hope to see a lot of you up there Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday night, of course, is the big $20,000 to win race. It's a $120,000 race for the entire 3 days. The payouts are fantastic. We even have a race in which the bottom 24 cars that will not make it to Saturday's show, they have their own race for a huge chunk of money as well. So it doesn't matter where you are with the BMOD Nationals, you're going to get a chance to do a lot of racing through heat races, through some preliminaries, through some B mains, and even some last chance qualifiers. And if you're the bottom 24, they're going to get a chance to run as well, which I think is simply a great idea. Now, also, we've got the Pure Stock / Sportsman. The Sportsman, like what we have at MTS this year, Pure Stock's what we had last year that some other dirt tracks run. They're going to be running as well. And if you're a driver, if you win Thursday, Friday, Saturday, that's $900. And that's not bad for a lower tiered kind of a class right there to put in your pocket and get your race team ready for next year. So you can find the entire schedule at MississippiThunder.com. It's got practices Wednesday night. We had 125 cars alone practicing, which is outstanding. We're going to see upwards of 200 get into the BMOD Nationals. The schedule for Thursday, Friday, Saturday is posted right there on the front page. You can find out the payouts, the drivers that are going to be there, and the entire format for all 3 days as well. Do want to remind you, Saturday night, La Crosse Speedway, it's Eva Destruction night. We're going to have a lot of previews and highlights of what went on with Benny the Bomb, the Green Mamba Jet Car, monster trucks, the whole shebang. Hornets are racing as well on next week's program. So make sure to tune in to Seven Rivers Racing next week, and we'll get you some highlights of Eva Destruction, which is this Saturday. So we thought, since we didn't have any races last weekend, we had a big 200-lap enduro at the La Crosse Speedway. Thought we'd let you sit back and watch the closing laps of 4 drivers, 2 that were still in the lead lap, to nail down the 200-lap 4- and 6-cylinder enduro at the La Crosse Speedway. Watch this. Laps keep ticking away. 82. DeWader still not being able to find enough room to work his way up front. Solid second place. Still has a nice little payout, though. He's over the back end of Stanfield's 72 car. Bayern still running a solid race, as is Arndt and Zellner. Melissa Rouge still getting it done with 23. Somebody lost a big chunk of either front end or back end right below the flag stand. Six laps remain, race fans. Can the 41 hold off? Everybody else can get it done. All DeWader's got to do in the 82 is just stay where he is and stay out of harm's way. This time by, the 41 will see 4 laps remain on the action track quarter mile. 196 in. 41's just got to stay. Oh, 113 hard in the wall. Schlitz took a shot down the back straightaway. He's got it refired, and we've got 3 laps remaining. A tough night for Schultz. He says, I'm staying back in this one. Here's your leader on a turn number 4. 2 laps remain. The waiter in the 82 can just cruise home in second place. After 199 laps, the white flag is out, 1 to go for the 41. Checkered flag is in hand. At 200 laps in, your race winner is the 41 car.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
SuperStocks, Modified,
600 mods.
PureStocks, StreetStocks, B-Mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Welcome back to Semmelers Racing. I'm Dan Dyker here on KQEG TV. We are back at the Crosse Speedway, one of the final somewhat race nights here at the Speedway. The 200-lap Enduro drivers are down the track getting them locked and loaded right now, and it's also our first of 5 championships here at the Speedway. Tonight is going to be the StreetStock Championship. John Aaron, who leads the points, joined us earlier this year. We kind of flashed back for you on that one. So we're going to bring in the guys that are trying to chase him down tonight that have a legitimate shot to do it, and if they save their cars, they're going to jump in the Enduro as well. First up, we're going to talk with Taylor Dobbs, a former Hornet driver. And Taylor, you start off the night only 12 back, man.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. I mean, when I came into this division this year, I just wanted to do better than last year. And it's been a solid year. I got a feature win the opening night. And now I'm just working on seeing what I can do to see if I can't pass Madman up.
And, of course, that was kind of a surprise to you. And night number 1, you come out with all these street stocks, which this class is going to be a big class next year. I mean, I would not be surprised we had 15 to 20. And you came out and knocked out Phoebe. You got the monkey off your back way back in May.
Yeah, it was a good feeling finally get that one win. I've been racing for 4 years without a win, so just to get that one win made me feel real good. And I just like to keep going out there and doing what I can and see if I can get another one.
I remember it was about 4 years ago when Taylor Dobbs first came out in that blue and white Hornet car, painted with the yellow number 3 on the side of it. And just when he was getting his feet wet, we opened up the street stock class. What made you go, hey, I want to go from a Hornet to a 6-cylinder?
Well, I started talking to Chuck about it, and he said that, just talk to me about getting a car. He throws you in a car. He lets you get in for free with it, and that's really what got my attention off the bat. It was more opportunities for me to race, and it was 6 cylinders instead of 4, so it was just a pass and deal that I couldn't pass up.
And you get to figure that a lot of the guys that are out here, I mean, we've got some names that haven't even raced here in quite a while, maybe ran sportsmen's like Zillner has, but you had an advantage coming into this because you had 3 years under your belt running a Hornet on the action track quarter mile.
Yeah, I maybe had a slight advantage because I ran on this track before, so I knew some of the ins and outs of it and what to do. But I mean, it's definitely a good division for newcomers and people who have raced before who just want to take a step down to something that's not as money efficient. So yeah, I mean, it's just a good division for anybody.
Now, was there that much of a difference? I mean, these 4 cylinders are not just your regular 4 cylinders off the streets. I mean, you guys do what you can to them within the rule books and make them as fast as you can. You got the different tires, tire pressures. Was there that big of a difference between the Hornet 4-cylinder and the Dodge 6-cylinder?
For me personally, no. It was pretty much just bought it right off the street, tore it apart, and threw a number on it and was ready to go racing.
Now, I've noticed as I've seen, I mean, we have such a variance of cars. We have a Camaro, we have a Beamer. We're going to talk about the Audi here in a minute. We have such a variance of different cars. Is it harder when you have that many different cars to fall under the same rules, or does the 6-cylinder kind of help things?
Well, the 6-cylinder is definitely there for the cars, but there's definitely different setups and different tweaks to every different car. So each car is going to be different, so it's always tough to kind of take a grasp on, what you can do to try and beat those other cars, because they're all different out there.
Now, you've got two other drivers that are going to be coming on the program here in a couple of minutes. You don't want to give them their secrets of what you have. Obviously, Dan Osthoff's got 3 straight wins, so I think he's got his figured out. What are some of the things, if someone's thinking about getting into the 6-cylinder class, you can find Pontiac Grand Ams in every junkyard in this part of Wisconsin. I mean, everyone's got them now, the Grand Prix and the Grand Ams. So someone says, okay, I want to spend $300, I'm going to buy myself a 6-cylinder. What are the things that they have to do right off the bat to make it track ready?
Well, you just gotta get the car. You gotta put in the time and work to get it tore apart and gut it out and race ready. And you just, you gotta be able to. If you're new to it and you don't know much for car setups, there's plenty of people that'll talk to you as far as tire pressures and whatnot. So I mean, you kind of learn as you go, really. I've always had my dad there to helping me out, so I've been learning a lot from him. So it's really comes down to just kind of testing what you think's going to work. If it doesn't work, you try something different.
Here I want to say it was maybe not the last race, but the one before that. I want to say we had 17 or 18 of the StreetStox, which was the largest car count we've had all year long. Do you feel that once everybody has seen that it's good, clean racing, how well you guys have done so far this year, that this class will grow next year?
I honestly think it will. I mean, it was kind of rough at the start, but I feel like it's been getting better. I mean, you got newcomers in, you got to keep that in mind. There's a lot of guys in this division that I don't think have raced before, so me having the racing experience I do, I have to take that into consideration and just kind of help them learn.
Taylor Dobbs again runs the number 3 StreetStox tonight. When you started the season, you got feature win under your belt, kind of a surprise there. Did you think after 6 or 7 races you would be this deep in the hunt? I mean, 12 points can be made up very, very easily tonight.
I really didn't. I just kind of, after that feature win, I just kind of went out there, did what I could, and here we are. I've been sitting second in points pretty much all season. I'd be content with keeping that or potentially winning the championship. We'll just have to see what happens.
Now, I'm going to ask the other guys this as well, as John Aaron just walked by us here, the Madman going down to the pits. You saw him race last year. You saw him bring out the ugliest cars that were obviously the fastest. He whipped out, I think, 6 or 7 feature wins in a row last year. How much pressure do you put on yourself as you hit that track for qualifying? No heat race. You're going to go straight from qualifying into a feature tonight with a championship on the line.
There's definitely a lot of pressure on me, but I've really learned to kind of just relax a little bit, because if you don't relax, you're just going to be tense and you're going to be overdriving your car, and you're going to end up screwing yourself up.
All right, before we let you go, of course, your dad's helped you out. I've noticed him out here all 4 or 5 years you've been racing. Talk about the sponsors you've had.
Well, my dad and I have been doing this from the start, so we got D&D Racing on the car. We have had Bernie's equipment since I've started in 2 Guys in a Dumpster, and I really appreciate their help and support with my 4 years of racing. I hope to have them continue helping and supporting me.
No matter what happens tonight, you'll be back next year.
We'll see what happens. I just picked up a Sportsman, so.
Oh, I like when we let the cats out of the bag. It's one of the reasons I love this racetrack, is these guys I've known them for so long here, being here as long as I have, that when they want to put the cat out of the bag, you know where to do it, on TV or radio. Taylor Dobbs joining us here at the Speedway. He's got a championship on the line tonight. You're going to hop into the Enduro afterwards.
I was planning on it, but there's a guy that's actually thinking about buying my car, so it's kind of hit or miss if I want to do it or not.
Right, kind of touch and go right there. Taylor Dobbs, one of the great young drivers here at the Crosse Speedway. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
All right, going to keep talking StreetStox here in a moment. This is Seven Rivers Racing on KQEG TV.
Get ready for the Thunder!
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
SuperStocks Modified.
600 mods.
Pure Stocks, StreetStox, B-Mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
Welcome back. Seven Rivers Racing, K3GT. I'm Dan Diker at my full-time job. I'm here at the Speedway. I think more than I am my full-time radio job every single time I'm on the program, but I'm not complaining. Just love being back out here, and especially on a night like tonight where we've got a Street Stock Championship, a 200-lap enduro. Eva Destruction's only a week away, and of course you got Oktoberfest race weekend coming up here in about a month. Next guest that's going to join us, every time you're at the Speedway, if you see some cherry high beams flashing in the grill, and it's a Street Stock, and his name is Smalls, well, that you know is Jonathan Burbach. Hey, thanks for joining me on the program.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Tell you what, good season. I mean, you're obviously one of the seasoned drivers out here. This wasn't your first rodeo this year. Talk about this year, as you also are still in this points chase.
Well, this year's been a little bit different than last year. Last year, Chuck was nice enough to give us some house cars to run in to start the division off. This year I actually didn't have a car until the day before the season started. It's kind of funny just driving through Winona.
That's gotta be a crappy feeling.
Yeah, I tried doing the whole get prepared before the season and kept falling through the cracks. Couldn't find a car, couldn't find something I liked. And literally the Friday before the season started for StreetStox, I was just driving through Winona and saw a Grand Prix with a for sale sign. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop and see. Ended up buying the car for $200, got it stripped down in less than 24 hours, and here and race ready.
And here we are through, I think, 7 or 8 races with the StreetStox this year. You're 22 points out, and you, like Taylor Dobbs, you're still in this thing.
Oh, very much so. I mean, all I got to do is beat Madman. That's the big thing, is beating Madman. That's on my bucket list, actually. One of these days.
And that's, as we saw last year, everybody out here tried to do that. He had kind of a slow start this year, so I think that's why. I mean, he ran away with it last year. I think he had 8 feature wins total on the year after he had a speed bump right there. And you get that many feature wins, it's just hard to do. But this year, he changed cars, and he kind of slipped up for a couple of weeks, which gave about 4 or 5 of you guys a chance to pounce.
Well, we're actually kind of caught a break there for a little bit. I don't want to say it's a good thing, but it's kind of a good thing for us slower drivers. When he wrecked his original car, the first race out of the race of the season, we were kind of wondering what he was going to come back with, and then he came back faster, which is a little bit scary.
And he went from, I want to say that he had a Dodge last
Intrepid.
year. Yeah, Dad had a Dodge Intrepid. Now he's got a Chrysler LHI or something like that.
No, actually, he ran a Dodge Intrepid last year, which is actually the exact same thing that Taylor Dobbs and I ran last year.
Right.
There was a fire sale on those things or something. He ran that again the first race this season. Then he came out with an LHS, and then he had some issues with that, and he actually ended up buying a Chrysler 300M.
That's right.
From the
That's
track,
right.
and then fixed the engine, and now he's got that thing out here.
Yeah, we came up with a nickname for that car, too, a couple weeks ago, and I can't remember what that is. I'm going to have to try to jog the memory before racing starts. And then we had a it's the Magnum 57 or something like that. It's John the Madman Aaron. What do you expect? What is it about this class that you like? I mean, obviously, very economical.
Well, it's like I said, the car I'm running this year, I picked up for $200 at the beginning of the season. I've maybe spent $150 over the course of the season in fuel and tires and things like that, and painting the car. But that's really about it. And the nice thing about the class is, it's a friendly class if you've never raced before. It's real easy to get into. It's real easy to learn the track. All of us down there are. Well, we've kind of coined the phrase in StreetStox, we're a big family. John the Madman, his crew chief, has helped me out more than I can even imagine, which, your competitors, I'm trying to catch him, and his crew chief's helped me, which is awesome. I got Taylor Dobbs, him and his dad have helped more than enough times. Actually, there was one weekend where I didn't have a trailer to get my car down here. I showed up at the track and asked Dobbs and his dad if I could borrow their trailer, run back to Winona and pick up my car, and he's like, yeah, go ahead.
That's outstanding.
I wouldn't have raced that night without him.
I tell you that, and it's like that not just with the StreetStox, but every class out here. I mean, I've learned that for so many years, that you can have somebody wrecking a late model. As soon as they pull that rig in the pits, you've got 9, 10, 12 race teams running down there to try to find out what they need and what they need straightened out and get them back out. And I'm really appreciative of what you guys, I'll term the phrase, you guys, and Dan Osthoff's going to join us well, you guys have owned this class this year.
Oh, yeah, I think, last year...
Combined, you guys have owned this thing.
Last year, starting off, between Taylor Dobbs, myself, and Madman, we finished 1, 2, 3 last year. So we kind of ran the season last year, and then this year we've been pushing each other. It's what it's come down to is we pushed each other to go faster and harder and really, bring the class up to par.
Well, then you got this guy that's going to be on here next, Dan Osthoff, who's got an Audi.
That little Audi. I can't.
Ripped off 3 straight wins. What's going on here?
Every time I see that thing in my rearview mirror, I'm like, damn it, here he comes again. And next thing I know, he's like 4 car lengths ahead of me, and I just can't catch him.
Now, I tell you what, it's fascinating to see that, especially if you watch how far you guys are behind him, and you can hear him coming around. And, that's one of the things with this class. Everyone's like, this is a big racing class for 6 cylinders, but they're so quiet. But then you hear the Camaro come around of Trevor, or you hear Osthoff coming, and you know what's behind you.
Well, for the most part, I think we're all pretty much running stock exhaust. And then you got some of them where somewhere along the line, something rusted out, something broke,
right.
And you hear them coming. You know they're coming, and next thing you know, they're past you.
So you got tonight's a championship. You're going to hop in the Enduro afterwards. What's in line for 2016 for you?
2016 is a little bit up in the air. I'm actually thinking about following Dobbs a little bit and going sportsman, working on some sponsorships for that, and we'll see what happens. Kind of feel like getting, I've raced a small track now, did 1 year in Hornets, and I've done 2 years now in StreetStox, and I feel like I've raced a small track enough. It's time to step up to something a little bit bigger.
And a lot of guys have done that. I mean, you've got to have the seat time #1. I don't think I can remember anybody that ever came out here and just jumped into a late model with no experience, or just jumped into a sportsman with no experience. Obviously, it's different because you're on a quarter mile, then you're going to a 5/8 mile, but all it is just a longer front, backs, corners, but it's racing.
Yeah, it's really just, figuring out, well, like I heard Dobbs talking to you earlier about figuring out your tire pressures, your setup for each car. Same thing on the big track. You just got to figure out where you got to tweak, what you got to do, and get your power and get your cornering. That's all you got to do.
Smalls, Jonathan Burbach joining us on the program. Before we let you go, who's been helping you this year, and who's your sponsors?
My biggest help has been my dad, John Nerud. He's helped me countless times. He's always down in the pits for me. This year we actually didn't have any sponsorship. It's all out of my pocket this year. That's why on the rear end of the car it says, "Who needs sponsors?" I don't need them for this. I can do it.
Creativity amongst these guys. I tell you what, I love it. That is Smalls, Jonathan Burbach. He's going to be out tonight going for a track championship as well, and he will be in the 200-lap Enduro. Thanks for coming on board, and we'll be talking to you next year.
Again, thanks for having me.
All right, that's Smalls, folks. We've got one more interview coming up next on 7 Rivers Racing.
Get ready for the Thunder.
The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Every Friday night.
SuperStocks Modified.
600 mods.
Pure Stocks, StreetStox, B-Mods.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style. Tickets $12 for adults, $10 for seniors. Students free with an ID. And this year, kids 17 and under free with an adult admission. Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder.
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
Some of the best moments in life happen at home. American Standard Heating and Air works smarter to make them all more comfortable.
Over $400 in rebates available on select American Standard systems. Call Carey Heating and Air Conditioning today for a free estimate.
We are back one more time, 7 Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV. I am the voice, Dan Diker, out at the Crosse Speedway getting ready for StreetStock Championship, the very first championship we're going to have in 2015, followed by a very exciting 200-lap Enduro 4-cylinder and 6-cylinder. One of the guys that has stormed on the scene when it comes to StreetStocks, he told me what he was going to bring out here before we brought it out. I'm like, I'm not sure how well an Audi's going to run in the Action Track quarter mile, but 3 straight features later, Dan Osthoff, you have become the man. How are you?
It's been a great year. I wish I would have got it out here right away.
Of course, he's got his fan base standing down here watching us tape the program.
Yeah, they've been here the last couple weeks. Couldn't do it without them.
So I tell you, now let's talk about that, because a lot of people have asked me on Facebook, who is Dan Osthoff? Whose car is that? Where did that thing come from? He's won 3 straight features. Why is he not in the championship? What happened early this year?
Well, the car kind of fell on me. One day I was just sitting on Craigslist and I found it, and I was going to run and I had a different car, and I was like, well, this one's cheap enough. I'm going to get it and see what it can do.
And of course, it's done quite a bit. Talk about that car you have. I know it's an Audi, but what makes that thing so fast?
Honestly, it's set up and a lot of driver. It's a 96 Audi A4 Quattro, so it's all-wheel drive. It took me almost 2 nights to figure out the handling on it, setting up air pressure and everything. But
well, I remember a couple of nights watching you try to corner that thing, and I think you didn't experience how much speed that was bringing.
Yeah, it was interesting, but I got her figured out now, and I couldn't be any happier.
Dan Osthoff has the number 16 car, and of course these guys we were just talking to, Smalls and Dobbs, they want you to sit out one night, especially tonight here. This car, and you and I were talking before we started filming, you're not going to run the Enduro tonight.
No, I'm going to save her for next year. I'm not going to get an Enduro and have somebody wreck me. I'm going to save the car for next year and come out and hopefully win the championship next year.
And I think once Aaron, because I know Aaron has some intentions of coming back over that Street Stock Classic again next year, you're going to make some people sit up and go, wait a minute, I need to step up my game.
Yeah, it should be good. If Madman's back here next year, it'll be a fight between me and him next year, so it'll be fun.
Talk about the Street Stock class. I mean, I know you were one of the first drivers. I think, as a matter of fact, Burbach and Dobbs were also one of the first ones to initially jump on board in this class. Talk about why you're in this class.
It's a fun class. Everybody that is running here, we all get along. There's never any fights with us. We all race each other clean. That's what it's about. That's what racing is about, is good, clean racing fun. Like my first feature win this year, I raced Al Bartles, a veteran of this track, door to door for like 6 laps. That was fun. And I knew he wasn't going to intentionally wreck me or anything. That's what I love about the guys that I race with, is they're not out to wreck people.
And I think the neatest thing about this class is not because we have so many different drivers that have done so many different things here. It's the different cars. And again, we have a Camaro, we have a Beamer, we have an Audi, we have several Pontiac Grand Prix, we have several Grand Ams, a couple of Dodge Stratus's. And when people have come at me and said, Dyker, how can you run that many different 6-cylinders? Well, all they need to do is watch a race. You really have nobody blowing anybody's doors off.
No, you don't. And that's the big thing when I brought my Audi out. I wasn't sure on how it was going to do. I've never owned an Audi. I didn't know it was going to do what it does. But like I said, I'm happy it's doing as good as it is. I just hope it holds up.
So as I asked the other two gentlemen on the program, what do you have to tell the people out here that have seen the Street Stock class or have heard about the Street Stock class that maybe have an interest?
Just go out and get yourself a car. As long as it's a 6-cylinder, it doesn't matter if it's a minivan, a truck. Bring it out. It's fun. Just put a number on it and come on out.
You know, that's one of the things that is interesting, talking about bringing a minivan or bringing a truck or bringing a 6-cylinder, is the rule book for you guys is not like a Sportsman that our other two guests are going to be seeing next year. It's not like a late model. It's not like some of the Hornets. They've been pretty loose with you guys with the rule book this year.
They have, and I'm probably one of the only ones that doesn't have a cage in my car, which I have regretted most of the year.
Is shaking his head. He doesn't either.
But next year it will have a cage in it. I definitely recommend a cage in it after what I seen happen to Madman earlier this year. So.
Now, how experienced do you have to be? Do you have to go, well, I don't have 5 or 6 years of racing, so maybe I just won't get into Street Stock? Or can a rookie just come out here and do it?
A rookie can do it. We got a couple of them out here this year, and they've been doing a great job learning every week. They always come up and ask questions, and that's the biggest thing. Come up and ask us questions. We ain't going to tell you to go away. We're going to help you. It doesn't matter if we're racing against you. We will help.
And, that's another huge word you have right there, is learning. I've watched all of you guys. I mean, I remember when Taylor Dobbs first jumped in one of these cars, and I was like, Taylor, you don't know what you're in for out here. And it took him a couple races to really learn the corners. And that's the big thing in the 6-cylinders, learning the cornering. But all the drivers have learned, and I think that's what made this such a competitive class.
It is, and that's what's great about it. We're always helping each other, and Dobbs has asked me a couple times how I run corners, but it's hard to tell him how I run my corners because my car it likes the high groove, so that's where I stay, is in the high groove.
Well, again, as we close off the program with Dan Osthoff, he's out here not in the running for the championship, but he's trying to get in the top 5, which is very impressive for a guy that started out way slow in the season. What would it mean to you to come out here tonight and win 4 features in a row, which is very seldom you see any class at any track do that?
It would be great. It's an Audi A4, so I'm hoping for 4 feature wins in the A4.
Alrighty, Dan Osthoff, who's helping you out this year, sponsor-wise and pit-wise?
I got Ginzy's Game Day Pub, I got Green Door, George Street Pub, Select Few, the Craft and Vendor Place in La Crosse, and Lakeview Auto.
Alrighty, Dan Osthoff, be prepared to watch him not only try to get another win here tonight, but he's definitely going to be one of the front runners in this very impressive street stock class next year. I want to thank Taylor Dobbs for joining me. I want to thank Smalls, Jonathan Burbach for joining me, Dan Osthoff. We became pretty good friends here this year. We've got to learn quite a bit about each other, and that will continue as well. So find these guys on Facebook. A lot of them are building racing pages. If you've never met them, go down to the pits and meet these guys because they're working awfully hard on the Action Track quarter mile in what's going to be a very interesting street stock class next year. That's going to do it for Seven Rivers Racing. I want to thank Rick. He's the man behind the lens today. And next weekend, we do remind you, it's Eva Destruction, the trailer race of destruction. 4,000 or 5,000 people will be out here. And Oktoberfest Race Weekend. Check out OktoberfestRaceWeekend.com. I'm Dan Dyker. Thanks for joining us. More to come next week on Seven Rivers Racing.